no sports ball game.
Yeah. Well, what was it? We're nearing the end of the official season, right?
As of recording, we are coming up on week 18 of 18 of sports ball. You'll be good at them. Did you ever watch that video on Power Thirst?
Oh, yeah. Love Power Thirst.
Power Thirst. Sports. You'll be good at them. I think that every time.
I always think of what was it, the
You'll have babies that'll be as fast as Kenyans. They'll get mistaken as Kenyans, and then they'll get deported back to Kenya.
What was it? It's the flavors is
Lightning, pure lightning.
actual lightning. Yeah.
Her second flavor, fizz, beep. B word, female dog.
Well, that reminds me of the what was it? The evangelization linebacker.
Yeah, Terry Tate. No, there was the office linebacker. So it was basically the evangelization linebacker was based off of the office linebacker for Terry Tate, and that was an ad campaign by Adidas. Terry Tate was freaking hilarious. I don't remember. I remember seeing a couple of videos on the evangelization linebacker.
Yeah, it was really, really funny. What was it? They were talking about oh gosh. What was it? Evangelization in the United States is up and it's amazing. This thing works really, really well. And then he's like working in a coffee shop and they like is tackling people in the coffee shop and he's like, and coffee shop sales for some reason are, and he like literally takes the chart and flips it upside down.
Classic.
So.
Classic. Yeah. Those are the infancy of YouTube. Those were the good stuff.
Yeah, I just put it on YouTube. The evangelism linebacker Tim Solis is a 17-year-old video.
Yep. Mm-hmm. The Power Thirst was before YouTube. I remember that because it came out. I think it was on Newgrounds or it was one of those like smaller sites that people would just upload crap to.
Chocolate. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, chocolate. Okay.
Chocolate. Yeah. Made with lightning. Real lightning.
Oh, so good.
Energy.
That is also a 17-year-old video. 34 million views.
Yep. Like I said, that was before YouTube, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
It got re-uploaded onto YouTube, and then there's like Power Thirst 2, and then Power Thirst 3. Power Thirst 2 was probably just as funny as the first one. Third one was weird, for even though the first one was weird. But
I didn't even know that they.
Oh yeah, I went through rabbit holes in college. I was just like, because me and my buddy Kyle, who's Kyle, but he's best man at my wedding. We roomed together in college. I think my second year freshman year, and he basically couldn't sleep 90% of the time. So he would hop up. I had the top bunk, and we would watch like YouTube videos till like 3 a.m. And we went down the rabbit hole of the Power Thirst. Fun times. We watched those, and then we also loved the PSAs of G.I. Joe, but the parody ones. Have you seen those ones?
No, I don't think I have.
Oh, those are freaking hilarious. So funny. The pork chop sandwiches is the best one. If listener, you want to go watch it, a lot of swearing, but it's hilarious. Because it back in like this 90s, they had G.I. Joe on TV, and then afterwards they would do like a PSA, don't like ride your bike across the street, or don't walk away from the oven when it's on. And then they basically took a parody of it and just mouth read them, and it was just it was so funny.
Man, this is taking me down a rabbit hole. Now all I can think of is the YouTube channel Minnesotans for Global Warming, or M4GW. And they had one song called "If We Had Some Global Warming," and it's a parody of a famous '80s song, and he's like, it's like we would be the 10,000, or would be the state of the 10,000 lakes with palm trees. And he's like, well, what do you think? But then we'd have gators, and like, nah, the muskies would eat them, and they're
Of course they would.
so.
Of course they would. That's funny.
Yeah, no, they got some stuff up there. It's still pretty good.
Classic. Anyway, you want to get in the topic? Want to dive in?
Sure. So, well, wow, I can't. Wow. Okay. Wow. Welcome everyone to Those Catholic Gamers, a podcast where Catholic guys come together to talk about video games and their Catholic faith. I am James, your host, and today, as always, I have with me Connor.
Yeah.
So,
man.
Oh,
you ever read the Trollolo?
Classic one, yeah. Ho, 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 ho. Ho, 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 ho. So, I had a friend, his name's Brett, and he would play that just at random intervals.
Of course, that's great. I mean, you can do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, off topic.
Yeah. Anyway, so today, being that Andrew, I just don't think he's able to make it tonight, and Joe is, I don't know where
Joe
is.
He didn't elaborate. He just said he was gone.
He was gone until Saturday. He might be like with family or something like that. He's on break right now, so.
Yeah, he's a teacher, so he's got that long break.
So, yeah. So we thought we would do a genre discussion episode, and being that if any of you out there are big sports ball game players, well, this one's for you, or dare
Sports
I say,
puck. Sports puck.
Go my favorite sports team.
Achieve victory. Take said ball to said goal zone and score point. Yay!
Thank you, Brian Regan.
Thanks, Brian.
Oh man, just a bunch of rabbit holes ready to be gone down. But anyway, yeah. So, yeah, this episode is for the people who like to watch or play sports balls. However, you may feel attacked.
Just a smidge. Just a smidge.
Just a little bit. We are not big on the whole sports ball thing.
I'm not big on the sports ball video game genre. I like sports ball other than video games, but I think sports ball games are. Yeah, we'll go elaborate on it later.
That will be thoroughly discussed. I am not a sports ball guy at all. I used to be. I remember going through the basement once and finding my old homeschool paper. Like a
about me type thing.
No, it was just like an assignment thing that my mom had. And I was discussing like different strategies that the Portland Trailblazers needed to implement. And I was going into pretty good detail. And I was, as like a 25-year-old man, was going like, I don't know what I'm saying. So I don't follow it anymore. So I'm like discussing like different people and stuff like that. And I was like, wow. I used to be very much into it, and I am not anymore.
Yeah. Well, and basketball, I'm going to be honest with you. Basketball is probably my least favorite sport. I just think it's boring, to be honest with you. It's and any facet of the game. I don't know. It's just not something that I've found any interest in, and I'm also terrible at it. And I've my dad tried to get me to go out for the longest time, and I said no, and then I went out for wrestling and liked wrestling a lot more in high school and junior high and stuff. But yeah, basketball is just like not a fan. And I think that kind of goes into like the NBA 2K games where they're ran by 2K. And the monetization schedule for the game too just makes me not want to get into it. And it's just, I don't know. I've seen people play it, and it's a commercial success because people just buy it every single year just for the sake of buying it and just for updated rosters, and that's about it. And it's kind of doesn't make sense to me. But I would say basketball is probably my least favorite. Basketball is my least favorite sport.
As you can see, we're still unpacking.
Yeah. I see that. Still got some boxes. Yeah. Are you in a different room? Did you move your computer to a different room?
Yeah, I'm on the first floor.
Nice.
Yeah. So the window behind me looks out to the front.
Nice.
Yeah, and then actually this right here is into our entryway for the apartment.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Did you remove the door that separated the two apartments?
Nope. So the thing that you see with the knob on it, that's the door.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that works.
Yeah. So, yeah, you can't see the radiator behind, but you can see the heat pipe.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
That goes all the way up to the kids'
room.
Go
all the way to the top. Okay. So is this gonna be your office then?
Yeah, I think so.
Nice.
So, and then what was it? I need to go to a dermatologist.
I was gonna say you're getting kind of red.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I've scrubbed and scrubbed, and I've tried moisturizer, and it's not getting any better. So
yeah, you need to go. You put some of those HSA dollars to work and go to the dermatologist.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't know. Sure, I don't probably go in like 2 weeks. I'll be back to normal.
And for those listening to the audio only podcast, you can't see anything about his face. So yeah, that's fun stuff.
Well, I mean,
he's got a face for radio right now.
I always have had a face for radio.
That's not true.
So, I mean, I could do this.
Oh, they're over the top. Oh man, you are a gangster. Wearing that over top of the headphones.
Yeah, over the top of the headphones.
Nice. Anyway, back to sports.
Yeah.
What would you say your favorite type of sports ball or sports puck would be?
So growing up, I actually was really into basketball. I remember going to a Trailblazers game, really enjoying that. Globetrotters, that was always fun.
Yeah, I wouldn't say Globetrotters is actual basketball because it's all staged, but it's fun.
It's tricked basketball, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So I remember enjoying that a lot. I remember going to a Canucks game when they were playing in Portland, and really enjoying that, and watching like my first fight. That was like
yes,
yeah,
nice.
I mean, that's a Canucks game, so one fight will happen. So
it's any NHL game, though.
Yeah, pretty much. By the way, wait, what did you already go to Winnipeg?
We did. We went. What was it? December 21st is when we went up there. We went to a Winnipeg Jets versus Minnesota Wild game. Guess what the score of the game was, James?
2-0.
0-5. Guess who scored 5 goals?
Not the Wild.
The Winnipeg Jets. It was the worst game of my entire freaking life.
And that's a long drive.
That was about 6 hours.
Well, from Sioux Falls is pretty long.
It's 6 hours both ways, from Bismarck and Sioux Falls.
Oh, okay.
We met in Fargo and head up, and we had a ton of fun in the car. It's good catching up with Alex. He's always a good time to hang out with because you can say things and it gets him uncomfortable, and then he's reacting to be uncomfortable is super fun. As you can tell, I like to say spotty things, listener. But we had a good time. We hung around downtown a little bit, and then our hotel was connected to the arena. The arena was fine. It wasn't like crazy. It was nice. Like we were but also our seats were literally right behind the wild bench, which was awesome. Kirill Kaprizov, who is like the best player on the Wild's team, and he's like really good. He's like leading the NHL in points right now. We sat right behind him. Like it was amazing. It was so cool. But all I wanted to do the entire game was just get up and just smash the glass in front of us. Just whenever I just wanted them to score once so that I could do that. And then they didn't score one freaking point. It was terrible. They couldn't get a face off to save their life, and every single point they got was off of power play goals, which you probably don't understand what any of that means. But it was a rough game, but we had fun, so that's what matters.
Fair enough. So. But yeah, so hockey. I went to a Mariners game growing up once. That was my friend's 10th birthday, and I still have the baseball. They were handing out free baseball bats to kids, and so I still have the baseball bat. Yeah. So if you ever come into,
it's like a little mini one.
No, it's like a full size.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. They were like handing them out when you were walking in.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I still have it, and it is under my bed in case any intruders come into the house.
Your deterrent device.
Yeah, next to the shotgun and the pistol and the.
Well, the thing about those is you gotta lock them up, and if someone's coming in your house, it's kind of hard to unlock those quickly.
Yeah, but yeah. Anyway, so. Yeah, that is. I grew up with that, and then I grew up with watching the Super Bowl. We never really followed any sports. Sundays were a day for family, day for rest. We did not watch sports. My dad was not much into following it, and then when I played a lot of soccer, early elementary, and then I played.
Everyone's done
baseball.
That. Yeah, everyone's played soccer when they were a kid.
Played baseball, played football. Yeah, and then golf, ultimate frisbee. I did a lot of sports stuff. It just wasn't. I moved around so much that I wasn't able to really stick with anything.
Did you do ultimate frisbee in college, or like as for fun type thing?
No, it was the homeschool group.
Nice.
So that's how I got to know like the Simons and the Tibbets and those families and.
Yeah, I mean, ultimate frisbee is a great sport for like people who just don't know what they're doing, because you just throw the different disc around. It's not like it's no contact. You just kind of run at your own pace. Like it's a good sport for homeschoolers.
You get your face cut open. Yeah, it's a whole thing.
If you get hit in the face, yeah.
Well, actually, we had somebody. What was it? He dove to catch the frisbee, and he was so focused on what he did, he didn't see that there was a trailer, like a flatbed trailer in front of him, and he literally dove face first into the trailer, and he cut open his cheek right here.
Yeah,
and sure enough, there was like some first responders down the street, because this was over by McKenna Park. This is actually in McKenna Park. So older part of the neighborhood, there was a first responder, and we were able to wave them down. They came over, and yeah. Ironically,
did he have some scars? I feel like that's like a
no. He still to this day has got a nice scar on his cheek,
a Joker scar.
Yeah, pretty much. What was it? I was wearing what was it? It's all fun and games until somebody gets hurt, then it's hilarious shirt. And then I carried him from there in to the park benches, and I got blood on it. I don't know.
I mean, that's. I mean, it makes sense. I feel like if you're gonna get blood on a shirt, it might as well be that one.
Exactly. I thought it was incredibly ironic. So
you're not wrong.
So, but yeah. But how about you? What's your sports ball history?
So growing up, I remember vividly me and my dad would go to the Twin Cities for Vikings games. My dad actually had season tickets to the Vikings growing up for like 35 years, like for a long time. Yeah. Ever since like he got out of college, he had started getting tickets. So we'd go like once a year at least. And it was just me and him, and then he'd take some friends and stuff, and they would always have their kid, and we would just hang out. And I remember going to a lot of Vikings game, and to this day, I'm still a pretty big Vikings fan. Which is fun because they're doing really well this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say big football fan. And then growing up, I did a lot of like City League baseball, which was a ton of fun. Definitely really liked baseball a lot. And then you just realize how many games professional like baseball there is. And it's just really hard to follow. It's like 162 games. And
yeah,
I just lost track of it. And so I'll watch the Twins if they're on. That's something fun to do. I've already voiced my opinion on basketball, but yeah. And then I got into wrestling in junior high, like 8th grade. And I really fell in love with that. That was a lot of fun. And I think it'd be fun for my son to get into wrestling next year. When he turns 3, I think it'd be fun just to get out there and have him get active. I mean, he's gonna be 3. He'll just flop around the mat, and that's about it. But it'd be fun. And then what else? I ran cross country in high school, and I mostly did that for wrestling because I wanted to get in better shape than football because I'm not mean enough to be a football player. That's what I realized. I just couldn't run around and hit people.
Yeah, that was my problem. Was I have the build and I have the ability. I didn't have the personality. I didn't want to hurt people, and that's really really hard for a defensive tackle. Defensive tackle, you really want to go out and hurt people. So
you gotta be mean. You gotta be angry.
Yeah, you sound like my coach.
That's from Dodgeball. You gotta get angry. If you can dodge wrench, you can dodgeball. And then I mean, yeah, just random oddball gym class stuff that we would always do. And curling, I love curling. There's no good curling games out there, but curling is probably one of the greatest games ever made. It's so much fun. But I wish I could get into a curling league here in Bismarck, but I don't have enough time.
Yeah, they're pretty serious up there.
Got a whole rink and everything, and it's like they've got 4 sheets, which is wild. And then they have literally a league every night of the week, Monday through Sunday.
Yeah, there was a guy that we were wanting to get to come join us for cigars in Bismarck, but he was too busy.
Jay
with curling.
Yeah,
Jay.
That's all right.
So
we haven't done stogies since you left. I haven't seen Tom in forever. He started going to St. Anne's.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. It's closer to him.
It's closer to him.
And I went in there for mass for, what was it? Ascension? I think it was Ascension. And it's gorgeous. They did a great job. They have a whole choir loft and everything now, which is wild.
Yeah, no, it's really it's a fantastic job.
Instead of being a 70s parish, it feels like it's a modern traditional church.
Yeah. Did you go to St. Mary's yet?
Yeah, I've been there several times. It's gorgeous.
That one's really, really
absolutely
great.
And so they moved at Cathedral, they moved the organ to the choir loft.
Good.
Did you hear about that? And then they moved the piano up there too. So there's all this open space. I messaged Father Eli and I was like, hey, Father Eli, got all this space. You could put a high altar up there if you wanted. And he was like, that's the plan. You sent me like a little picture of what they have, like a temporary, like little high altar space for the tabernacle. And I'm like, ooh, I kind of like that.
Yeah. Holy Family in Latrobe, they have a high altar. It looks really nice. My church that I'm across the street from, St. Joe's and Derry, is very much stuck in the 50s. So, but the
50s weren't terrible. I mean, it's better than the 60s.
It's pretty bad.
Oh.
Well, the third floor, so it's the church nave and sanctuary sits on the second floor of this building. The third floor used to be the school, and the first floor was the lunchroom.
Oh, we had one of those in Winona that we were.
Yeah.
Like we lived in the rectory there, And yeah, it was very much exactly the same, where the bottom floor was like the parish hall, and then everything. It just like it makes the room feel like, usually you think of a parish and you have nice tall ceilings, but it's like lowered ceilings, and it's just like really awkward.
Yeah,
They makes the space feel small.
yeah. Well, they don't have the school there anymore, so
Yeah.
they've been utilizing the space for catechesis and things like that, but they haven't had enough teachers this year, so catechesis is online. That was my reaction too.
Gross.
And what I'm thinking is, like, if you could get enough Catholic families in here, because Derry is a wonderful little town, and honestly,
Yeah.
if you could get a little bit of money and build up a community here, I could see it really thrive. But you just take out that third floor and then extend the ceiling, and you could turn the space into a pretty nice
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah, you
a
could.
nice
It would take a
place.
lot of work. That would take a ton of
Yeah,
work,
yeah, it'd be a ton of work, but
but you could do it.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah. Anyway, sports ball.
Sports.
So, all right. So we've talked about our history of sports in real life. How about in the video game genre? Did you grow up playing anything of that nature?
My cousin had PS2, and so we would play Madden on that quite a bit. And that was like Madden. I'm trying to think the years that we played. It was like 2002, 2003. Like, they were a big sports family, so they always had all the Maddens and stuff. I don't know, maybe it wasn't 2001. I forget. Yeah, we played Madden on his PS2. That was kind of what we would do a lot. We would have like a team where we would just play together. He would be the quarterback, I'd be a wide receiver, and we just go out and do whatever. So we would do that and then they got NFL Street, which was a ton of fun. I actually really like the NFL Street games because you don't need to actually know anything about football or like have any actual knowledge to football to play it. You could just be like, all right, we're just gonna go run down the field and plow someone over and just go for it. You can make giant cool catches and do style points and stuff. And then I played a lot of Blitz growing up, NFL Blitz. My next door neighbor, he had it on for the N64, and me and my friend, who is kind of my age, would play his older brother, and his older brother would just cream us. He would just destroy us in it. And that actually was a lot of fun. I like a lot of the sports games that are like more arcadey because they're actually fun and not throw your face against the wall, boring. But yeah, so I've had a little bit of experience within that. We would play some random baseball games every now and then, which was a good time. We would do like home run derby with that, but that's kind of the extent of it. I think I got my Steam Deck and I played through NFL Street 2 since I got that, and I realized how much fun that game is. And then when I was a missionary, we got into NFL or NBA Street with my teammate. We would play a lot of that because he liked that game, but that got kind of boring after a while because we kind of had to figure it out, like the whole what you need to do in the game to actually win, and it just got to be doing the same thing every single game. And that's kind of how I feel with a lot of sports games. You just kind of work out whatever the meta is, and then you just grind that till it's not fun anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any experience playing any sports ball games?
So I remember my first exposure to these kinds of games was actually The Princess Bride. I remember watching the first
Princess Bride,
the movie.
Yeah, there's the guy who had like a Bears jersey.
Yeah, he's playing on like an old Atari. He's playing like a baseball game.
Oh.
And I remember seeing that and just being absolutely enamored and just like, man, I would love to play that. And I never did. And then so backyard sports, playing soccer was really mostly what I did for sports games growing up.
Oh, I played backyard baseball.
Yeah.
We've talked about that.
Yeah. And then what was it? When I moved from the Portland, Oregon area to Sioux Falls, My friend Joe, his family actually had moved out as well. So they were from the Portland, Oregon area. They moved
Okay.
out to Sioux Falls, and he had recently gotten Madden 2006.
Okay.
And this was the first time they had the career
Yeah.
option.
Yep.
Yeah, so like you were in an apartment,
Mm-hmm.
and as your career got better and better,
You got a
your
bigger house.
yeah,
and-
your apartment got better and better. Yeah, and I remember playing that with him, borrowing that from him, and just playing the heck out of that,
Nice.
and really, really getting into it. I would. So what was it? One thing that I've always been very appreciative in the artistry of these kinds of games
Mm-hmm.
is their attention to detail when it comes to the stats and how they
Oh
implement
yeah.
that
That's
into
very
the game.
accurate. Yeah.
It's highly accurate.
Mm-hmm.
And to my detriment, I would always pick the Seahawks. Which
they
during
were
that time,
great in the 2000s.
they were fantastic. They didn't lose, like they weren't worse than the Browns.
Oh, they weren't terrible at anything.
No. So I would always lose, and I never understood. I really, to this day, don't understand the difference between like a blitz or I don't know. So I would just choose random things, and my friend knew exactly what to do because he was really into football. My friend Joe, and so he would always cream me on these games. But yeah, I remember
playing against someone who's actually good at it is not fun whatsoever. It's the worst thing ever.
It's very frustrating. It's like playing against somebody who's really into fighting games.
Yeah.
And then it's like, hey, I beat you, and it's like, yeah, because you soft locked me by hitting this one thing over and over it again.
You know how to do combos, and you know how to footsies and all that. Which is fun fighting game talk.
Yeah, so
that would be an interesting topic.
Yeah, that's
But yeah, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but we played Madden 2004. It was in 2001.
Oh, okay.
That was the one with Michael Vick. I remember playing that one.
Michael Vick. Okay.
He was a big quarterback. He was really good. Anyway, I digress. But what was it? Oh yeah, playing against someone who's like really good. So like I remember when I was in college, there were some guys who would sit in the lobby of our dorm, and they had the last NCAA football game. Like it just come out, and they were just like, we're just gonna keep playing that. So they would just sit in the lobby and play it for hours on end. I would literally be, anytime I would walk down in the entryway, there would be someone playing that game against someone. Like it was all hours of the day. And I was like, well, and they're like, you want to play? I'm like, sure, I guess. Why not? And they absolutely just creamed me like 40-0 because I was like, I had the mindset of what I always did. It was like I picked a play and then figured out who I was going to throw the ball to before the play even started. And I would just force it every time because I was like, why not? And they would do like all these audibles and like know how to bait me into getting interceptions and fumbles and all this other stuff. And I was like, this is dumb. This is too hard. I don't have time to play this because I was too big into other games at the time. I didn't really care to be good at it. So yeah, I guess there's that. Sorry, I didn't mean to. I forget what we were talking about.
I mean that's my positive experience of video games or these kinds of games. Yeah.
What's your negative experience with the sports games?
They're just, I mean, they're not my thing. I find them very boring. They're the same thing every year. I mean, I don't track sports as it is anyway, so I don't see the differences, the small little changes that are made to keep things accurate.
I mean, that's just what it is. Like Madden hasn't really changed since like Madden 06. Like It's literally been the same game for 20 years.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, out of it has come like a completely different style as well. It's what was it? It's the manager kind of games where
Yeah.
you're not playing the player, but you're playing like the team manager. Um,
Yeah,
and
I
yeah,
guess.
that's not
Nobody
my
plays
thing.
those games though.
Well, no one that we know.
Fair enough.
So, but I mean, the people buy them, people play them. So, but yeah, I don't. Uh, there's that, and of course, there's the big problem now is the um, microtransaction problem.
Yeah, we can get into that. So that's what plagues a lot of modern like sports games is that the uh modern games are very much built upon loot boxes, right? And that's how they actually make money. Like no, but none of these sports games actually make money on selling copies anymore, which is what you would do. So like that was the incentive of making a good game was like if you made a good game, you would sell more copies. The more copies you sold, the more money you made. But now you don't need to make money off of the actual making as many games. You're selling as many games. You make money off of the incentives of within the game. And that's where I forget what it's called. You like open loot boxes and you can unlock players that way. And that's how basically they make money now is they make money off of people opening these loot boxes. And the way that a lot of games make money, and this is just like gotcha games in general, is they have a few specific whales is what they call them that just sell and just buy just crap tons of these packages because the pull rates for a good player is like minuscule. So in order to get good players, you have to unlock constantly be buying packs. So it's very much a pay to win type like promise. And like the actual gameplay itself, like I said, it's the same thing every single freaking year. Like you can only do baseball so much. You can only change it up so much. Like the sport itself is not changing. Like you can and I remember getting Madden 05 and there was like a single player thing where you could basically take someone from a rookie to however. And that was kind of fun because it switched it up. Instead of controlling everybody, you had one player, so you had to do really well with that one player. So that was fun, and they try doing stuff like that every now and then, but the core component of the games is pretty much the same.
Yeah, fair enough.
So it's just hard to justify spending the money to get it because it's going to be the same every year. Like, and they have no incentive to change up the formula of it because there's no competition, especially when it comes to Madden, because EA Sports has the exclusive rights to the NFL. And there's been other games that have been sports like football based, but they don't have the players. That's what people want is the players. That's really at the end of the day what people want to play the game for.
Fair enough. So, controversial question here, Connor.
Yeah.
What is the difference between a sports game and a racing game? Because everything you just said to me kind of sounds like a racing game.
What kind of racing game are you asking? Are you talking about a race sim or are you talking about an arcade game?
How about you break them down here?
Okay,
because I just kind of lump them together.
Yeah. So the biggest difference, so a sports game, I guess you can kind of consider racing sims a sports game because it's the closest thing you have to the actual sport of motorsport, because motorsport is a game. Like motorsport is something that you go out. But the thing with motorsport is there's different cars being released, right? You have manufacturers making completely new cars every single year. And so it creates the same thing where you're competing to win. But the way that you win a race, so I digress. Sorry. Getting sidetracked. Sorry. Arcade racing games are like your Mario Kart games, your Need for Speed games, where it's meant to be have as low as a bar of entry as possible. So it's just as you would walk into an arcade game and just show up, throw a couple quarters in, you're like arcadey. When you play an arcade game, you basically don't need a break. You just hit the gas, you go, you like Need for Speed Underground is kind of the biggest thing I could do. You could just unlock new cars, you unlock new upgrades for the car, and then you just race. You race for money, and then it's a story-driven type thing where as you race more, you unlock more cars, and basically winning is very easy. Like to win an arcade game and like to win in Mario Kart isn't that hard because everyone is at the same level. There's a very high or very low floor and very low ceiling. To be good at Mario Kart doesn't take a whole heck of a lot. You just basically need to have map knowledge. With sim racing, you actually have to understand how the mechanics of a car work, and it's substantially harder to be good at it because it's more formulaic. You're basically trying to understand tracks. You understand how your car adapts to the track, to changing conditions. It's like trying to understand the psychology of the person in front of you. Like, does this person make a mistake usually here or there? Like, mistakes are so much easier to make in sim racing because it's more physics driven. I would say there's no sports like game, like no baseball game, football game, no sport game on any consoles comes even close to the reality. They're based in reality, but you couldn't play Madden and be like, oh, I can play Madden. I can go play quarterback somewhere, or I could be a wide receiver somewhere. That's just not possible. Like it's totally different. Whereas if you're in a Sims, especially if you have the right wheel, actually mimic the forces of a steering wheel. So like there are people who have driven sim rigs and been very good at sim racing and have actually been good at motorsport. They've actually got recruited to be a driver in real life. It's not exactly perfect, but the idea of motor or what is it called? Being able to pass someone or be able to race around track is very, very similar. So I would say sim racing is more intense and more difficult than if you were to play Madden because it actually takes skill. Whereas Madden could take skill, but you're not gonna be able to transition Madden to real life. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So like when we would do our 24-hour races, like we would go around the track of Le Mans in Le Mans, France. Like it's like a 6-mile track. And if I could go to Le Mans to this day and use the exact same brake points, like turning points and understanding of the map or the track and actually drive around the track because they make the track so accurate to real life. And I think I think sim racing is super fun, and I got into iRacing as well because it actually mimics real life racing, and it's super fun actually racing people because people make mistakes, and like getting into a race, getting into battle with someone on a track it's a ton of fun.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I would say sim racing is more of a motorsport, get you more into motorsport. And you understand, like from me doing sim racing, I can go to the Indy 500. I could watch a race on real life and understand how difficult it is. And like, it makes me look at like watching NASCAR completely different, watching Formula One completely different, because I understand how difficult it is because they make it look so easy when they're doing it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, taking that strain of logic, I guess I would ask you this question. Do you think, what was it? If you go to ESPN, right, and you just kind of turn on, you will get all sorts of people who obviously have not played professional sports, but they're all commentators.
You got talking heads, yep.
Do you think that the sports game genre could have played an effect into that, because you are able to see more of the strategy behind the game, uh, how things are supposed to get on, uh, how everything is like interacts and connects. Do you think that kind of came about? Because I don't remember growing up
Yeah,
in the early 2000s, those talking heads were as big as they are now.
yeah. I mean, those talking heads are there because they know how to be a journalist. You know, they know how to be a sports journalist, and you can go to school for that. To understand the strategy of football or any other sport, you could just watch it and understand the strategy. But I
Mm-hmm.
mean, just because you understand the strategy doesn't mean that you can know what you're talking about. I mean, Skip Bayless is out there. He can talk about football all day long. And in fact, he gets paid a lot of money to do so. Is he a complete idiot and doesn't know what he's talking about? Yes. Just because you could talk about it doesn't mean that, and just because they're getting paid to talk about it on a sports network doesn't mean that they understand what they're saying. You know, they're there because they're provocative and gets eyeballs to tune in. And that's part of the problem with modern ESPN is it's all about attracting eyeballs and not actually talking about what's going on. Does that make sense?
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, there is people that watch, like, there are professional Madden players. There are esports players that play Madden full time, and they're very good at the game, and good for them for putting the hours to do that. And it's a game. Like, if you're listening to this and like Madden, great. I have no qualms against people who played Madden. If that's the sport of choice, then go for it.
Yeah, just
I'm not.
think wisely about the whole microtransaction thing.
Yeah, and that's anything with microtransaction. Don't, like, all, and it's so woven into modern gaming that it's sad that
Yeah.
it's just digressed into what microtransactions can gaming companies milk out of every penny out of every person.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, gaming is a business. It's always has, always will be. It's about how someone's trying to make money off of it. And if it's partially gamers' our fault, like, for buying all these stupid little microtransaction skins and all this other crap because we want to look cool. And that's what and it's gambling too. So it's supposed to be as addictive as possible. If anyone tells you otherwise, they're lying. Um so yeah. And that's my biggest gripe with a lot. And I think we've talked about this, but my biggest gripe with modern Madden is the loot box system. To be able to put down your own player, but yeah, spend a bunch of money, and it's all over mobile games. Like, I was in Farmville. That's a big part of Farmville. If you've ever played Farmville?
I actually do remember playing it, but not getting involved with it at all. I found it very
Yeah,
boring. But I
it's because
do
it
know
is very boring if you're not paying for it.
some people, yeah, very much enjoyed it. I got sucked into it. I remember playing that Mafia game on Facebook. It's like
Yeah, yeah.
Mafia Wars. You remember that one?
I vaguely remember it. Yeah, it basically just it was a click system where you would just buy more things and they would raise you more money, and then as time goes on, like, get more expensive, and you have to wait a certain amount of time before you could do your daily spins. And
It was basically
which,
the venture capitalist before venture capitalist came around.
yeah,
Adventure capitalist, yeah.
because the psychology behind playing a game if you play a game every day, you're least likely to quit the game because you have more of a mental investment into it. That's why a lot of games now have a daily, like, spin to win a prize.
Oh, yeah, yep.
So if you play it every day, you're least likely to give it up.
What was it? I used to play a Texas Hold'em game on my phone that would do that, and that's how you
Yep.
got chips. That's how they kept you playing. I never
Mhm.
paid for anything, but
Yeah.
so
And a lot of, I mean, you cannot pay. I remember playing a Marvel game on Facebook where it was the same thing where you basically would battle against other people and their Marvel characters, and there's a storyline behind everything, and you could use this. You had a certain amount of energy you could use every day, and then you had to wait 24 hours to get the energy back, or you had to wait a certain amount of time to get the energy back, or you could pay X amount of gold coins to be able to speed that process up. Well, these gold coins cost so many silver dollars, and then so many silver dollars cost real life money. So like they try to finagle it to exchange currency as many times as you can, just so that you don't understand how much money you're actually spending.
And then Diablo Immortal happened, and did you hear about that?
And Diablo Immortal is child's play compared to like a lot of gotcha games.
Mm.
You ever heard of the term gotcha game?
No, I don't.
So
think
like
I have.
a gotcha game, it's termed off of Japanese like style of basically you would go to a gacha like game sections and you would put money into the thing and then you'd spin it and it would pop out like a little container, and like most of the containers were like common, and then every now and then you get an uncommon, and then you get a rare, and everyone would want to get the rare, but to get the rare they were really hard to get, but they were worth more money. So like Genshin Impact is a gotcha game.
Oh,
That's a really Honkai Impact is one that's really popular, I guess now. There's so many out there. So like they're just designed to kind of like I was telling you with Madden, where there are heroes that are very good, but you have to pay a lot of money because you have to open a lot of packs to get them because it's difficult to unlock them. And it was like you could argue that Counter-Strike has gotcha style where you have to unlock crates to unlock skins.
sure.
But that's just how the video game industry is now. There's no story-driven game. Like, I mean, there are rare ones like like Dark Souls, or what's the new Dark Souls game that they made?
The Monkey King,
No,
Elden Ring.
Elden Ring. Yeah, sorry, Elden Ring. Elden Ring is like a diamond in the rough, right? Where it's you don't pay to win the game. You win the game by actually being good at it. But like if you realize how much money Elden Ring has made since its release, it's within like 600 million or something like that. Genshin Impact makes that in a week.
Yeah.
So like it's just wild, like the pie of like developers are incentivized to make these stupid games because of monetary reasons, where actual good games aren't. The model's been thrown into whack because of microtransactions and DLC. And DLC's ruined a lot of video games too.
Yeah, that's a whole other conversation of how we live in the era of DLC. DLC was really bad, and now
it's just a fact of life.
It's a part of the of that monetization cycle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the question is like, what is playing a game truly? Do you have to get all the DLC? Do you have to play with all of that, or the game that it was originally released is that the original game, and then these are like add-ons where you can choose? That's a whole other thing there. So
yeah,
but yeah,
it's all about money, baby. About the Benjamins. And that's my biggest gripe with modern sports games is it's so heavily monetized that it just sucks the fun out of everything.
yeah,
because I'm a cheap wad. I don't want to spend a ton of money on games. That's specifically why Madden doesn't come out on PC, is because PC players don't spend as much money on games as console players. And that's why the new Grand Theft Auto is not coming out on PC. It's because Grand Theft Auto PC players don't spend as much money on microtransactions as console players.
I thought Madden is on Steam.
Grand Theft Auto. Is Madden on Steam?
Yeah, EA Sports Madden 25. I just ignore all the titles whenever I see them because you have to get the EA Play thing, and it's all like member, like you have to pay an additional membership to even like get the thing. So I'm okay with Grand Theft Auto not showing up on the on the PC. I'm not a fan. Not a fan.
I played 5. It was fun. Definitely but that goes without saying. But I mean, like, right? Madden on Steam right now is mixed. And guess how many reviews it has? It's 2,000 total reviews.
Yeah.
So that just goes to show you how many people are playing in Madden on...
At least on Steam or through Steam. Yeah.
I could guarantee you I could pull it up and it's not going to have nearly the numbers as like a console as it does on console.
Most likely. So, all right. Anything else?
No, that's about it.
All right. Yeah, I don't really have anything else either. So,
just trying to think here. I could talk about the new game I've been playing, but that's a whole different subject. I've been playing Balatro lately. So much fun.
What is it?
So much. Balatro.
Balatro?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a card game?
Yeah. It's kind of like a Slay the Spire type. I think it's the same people that made Slay the Spire made Balatro. But it's a card game. It's like it's like if Slay the Spire was like poker.
Okay.
It's so much fun. But anyway, I digress.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Well, with all that being said, thank you, listener, for listening to this podcast. If you enjoyed our conversation, go ahead.
Oh, we forgot to give ratings. Madden is definitely you want to talk about ratings of Madden? It's A1. There's nothing wrong with like inherently bad about it. Anyone can play it.
The only thing that I could ever think of that would be somewhat cringy is their music choices on the main menu.
Yeah.
And it's always like the popular stuff. So I remember 2006 was like Avenged Sevenfold and stuff like that. Yeah. But it's A1. I wasn't gonna on these genre discussions. I wasn't gonna review that, but that's
personal opinion. 2 thumbs way down.
Yeah, not a fan. So, all right. Well, thank you, listener, for listening to this podcast episode. If you enjoyed it, please give us a review, 5-star, like, whatever, subscribe. Please let others know that this podcast does exist. We are trying to grow as we continue discussing games, the video game hobby, and reviewing those video games for you to figure out whether or not a game should be played or not. But with all that being said, thank you all for listening. Connor does stream on usually Tuesdays. We did not do it on this Tuesday.
No, we didn't because of holidays.
Yep, fair enough. So, but he does stream on Twitch on Tuesdays at about 7:30 p.m. Central Time till about 9 p.m. Central Time. You can find him at twitch.tv/fatalcondor. And once again, you can always email us at catholicgamerspod@gmail.com. And otherwise, with all that being said, thank you for listening, and God bless.
Bye. Have a great time.